Hi, everyone. Today, we will be getting to know a special guest, a seasoned sales and solutions consultant with over 15 years of experience in conducting customer discoveries and recommending the proper requirements to customers in government and education spaces. Now, he's highly resourceful and optimistic, and he constantly likes to take up challenges and learn new skills. Our special guest progressed from Bedok Town Secondary and went on to graduate from Temasek Polytechnic, majoring in digital media, IT infrastructure, and entrepreneurship. Today, our special guest works at AWS, and over there, he strategizes and executes national level initiatives with government agencies to drive the awareness of AWS Educate, and cloud computing technologies. And to this end, he does a number of things. He conducts seminars or workshops on AWS technologies. He influences the adoption of AWS cloudified curriculums for both public and private universities. He also builds activities that enable students to learn, build, and gain career opportunities through competitions and job fairs. And he redefines the contents of curriculum to ensure relevance to audiences from K-12 and the workforce. And the list goes on and on and on. He's a very busy man, to say the least. And having met him face to face at AWS downtown, he comes across as a very refined individual. Now, before we get to know him better, let me first introduce myself, if this is the first time that you're tuning into our series. Hi, everyone. I'm Danny from Science Centre Singapore, and today marks another exciting edition of STEM Together, a series of one-on-one video conferencing interviews with valued partners of Science Centre Singapore. Today's guest, as earlier mentioned, is none other than Felix Goh from AWS Educate. Welcome, Felix.
Hey, hi, Danny.
Thanks for joining us online to share your student and your work life with us.
No problem. It's a pleasure.
So what is the most interesting part of your job, whether it might be pre-COVID-19 or even right now?
I think when I first joined the company, I think that was the most interesting part for me, because what really happened is that I had very low, I kind of lost the skill sets of what I've learned in Temasek Poly, because back then I was learning a lot of networking stuff and knowing more about how to work with virtual servers and stuff like that. But after which I went into more digital media field, so more the creative media, how to do designing, digital marketing, and so on as well. So coming in was a big challenge, because back then there was only about 145 services, but I had to learn every single one of them. And I had to run a workshop of for 250 students in one of the summits as well. So it was kind of like a very challenging way, but it also piqued an interest in me where I was always very interested in learning new technologies. So that challenge came up and gave me an opportunity to say, you know what, I'm just going to do it all. I'm just going to learn every single thing and then start thinking about how I can use all these technologies and start doing it as well. And that process hasn't stopped. Like what Amazon always says, it's always day one for all of us. So even until now, with 170 over features, it's a constant learning process all the way back from 2.5 years.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So it really sounds like you kind of had to hit the ground running, and you've also had to learn along the job. Yeah.
Definitely.
What inspired you to go this way in life? To take up something that's STEM related or technology related?
Definitely. I think I was thinking about this question, and two things came up to my mind. I think the first one was for my first job. So while I was actually not from actually in Temasek Poly, what I was learning was more on game design. So back then there was this software called Macromedia Director, and it specializes in the programming language called Lingo. The first game I played on my phone was the classic Nokia Snake game. And then that's where I was thinking about how can I make it more colorful. So I actually used Director to create a whole Snake game from there.
Wow.
And that was good fun. So it involves like different stages and stuff. So while I was learning that, behind in the family as well, I had a late uncle who was very focused on helping people fix up CPUs, those tower CPUs, those classic ones.
Yes.
And he always challenged me by giving me CPUs which were faulty, and say, go figure, go and find out what about the issues. So
Wow.
I was learning more on the software side in school. I was also learning the hardware side in the family. And it kind
Mm-hmm.
of like piqued my interest to keep going, even
Mm-hmm.
though I went through like, I think that was 2.5 years of national service.
Yes.
My first job was more with regards to training in this company called Ask and Learn. So I essentially joined them as a very introverted person, always on the
Mm.
back end,
Mm.
and took up a training role. And that spiked my interest even more to keep going in the education and in the edutech space, I would say. Yeah.
Right. Wow, I cannot imagine you as anything close to introverted now. I mean, or ever before.
It's been a
Yeah.
big change, I would say. Yeah.
Wow. So I think work has pushed you into a different quadrant, and given the way that you approach life, you customize yourself to
Yeah.
fit that role. I think, so to speak.
Definitely.
So would
Definitely.
you consider yourself now a functional extrovert, or have you completely become extroverted?
I think it's more, I would still say I'm more like a functional extrovert
Okay.
because at the end of the day, I'll still crash in bed and say, oh man, it's just so tiring. But
Okay.
it's all part of the job, I would say.
Right.
And I think what really drives me is the passion to see some changes in the framework of how things are being done. Like I'm going to different countries across ASEAN, seeing how some countries are still pretty backdated. You want to make that change with the right kind of people, and really, be it whether it's through the organization that you work with or through associations in there. That is really what I want to achieve from it as well. So I think the passion keeps me going. Although I crash in bed after that, you wake up fresh and that's it. Keep going again.
You did mention something on the personal front, and I don't know if you would be equally comfortable sharing
Sure.
this with everyone regarding health challenges along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to take us through that journey of something that happened and how
Mm.
you've been recovering since, and how you've made the best of things? I think. Yeah.
Definitely. I think one of the biggest stumble I had was probably last year. So I was diagnosed with nasopharyngeal cancer.
Mm.
That was from June, I think it was, sorry, from May to July.
Mm-hmm.
And it was quite a big stumbling block because I essentially wasn't prepared for it, or neither would I have known, although it was part of the family history. But going down that road, I actually went through like 38 sessions of uh, radiotherapy and 8 sessions of chemotherapy. So literally, I wasn't having that much of a hair back then. And yeah, although now the side effects are still there, but I think what
Mm.
really kept me going is thinking about family,
Yeah.
thinking about what is really out there to really learn or really explore more in future, and looking to be a better person. I would say it really drive a different perspective in my life right now, like in terms of diet especially. I
Yeah.
used to
Wow.
really feast on every single thing.
Yeah.
But right now it's really very controlled, like maintaining a healthy diet, going down for walks because I can do extensive workouts,
Mm.
and really keeping myself healthy, keeping myself going. And it's not just also about work, it's also having that life balance across health,
Mm.
across diet, across exercising, and the family as well. So I think
Yeah.
that's really some. I would say last year was a big game changer for me in my life.
Yeah.
I used to be so gung ho, but right now it's really just very controlled and managed as well.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks
Mm.
for being very transparent about that.
No
And I
worries.
think,
Yeah,
no one is spared of these sorts of challenges, I think,
mm.
in life. And you've had it last year. And
Yeah,
I'm so thankful that you've come out a bit the changed person as well in terms of your
yeah,
diet and your priorities and
yeah,
balance that you apply. And so therein lies a transformation within
yeah,
and
for
a
sure.
better handle of things, I guess,
Mhm.
outside of work as well. Yeah. So
Definitely.
thanks for sharing that. Yeah.
No
If you
worries.
could sum up your profession in one word, what would that be?
I would say knowledge would be the word. Um, I would love to say perseverance, but I think that's something that everyone would have. But I think knowledge is something that it's never enough, right? You can never tell yourself that you have learned enough, you've known enough, and so on, because every day is a learning progress. And especially in the technology field itself, what I've seen is that every single year you've got to learn something new. Um, but in AWS, I'm seeing every single month I've got to learn something new, and
Wow.
it's having that mentality that knowledge is always never enough, and you just want to keep consuming more and more and learn more. It will keep you relevant, keep
Right.
you really upskilled, and really a challenger in the market as well. I think knowledge would be the key thing. Yeah,
Mm. That's very aptly put, I think, especially for you in your industry where things change so quickly,
definitely. Yeah.
and then you just have to keep up with the rate of things and
Hmm.
the nature of things, I think, yeah, in the
Yeah,
tech industry as well.
yeah, definitely.
Um, if you could share one piece of advice with students, what would that be?
But one piece of advice is always to stay humble and always to be adaptable. I think that's something I've learned throughout the 15 or so, I've lost count, 15 to 17 years of my career. But that's also something I learned across the school. Always being humble. You can be
Right.
very good at something, but always look at how you can impart those skills and get someone to learn from you, to actually get them better as well. That's also part of a leadership skill that you can learn, to how you can take care of others also. And at the same time, I would say the adaptability is very, very important. Just like how technology is evolving every day, an organization is constantly evolving. If you look at the current pandemic as well, a lot of companies are now switching in terms of how they are running the business. The typical restaurant who used to do more face-to-face customer is now going online, running doing island-wide deliveries and so on to survive as well. And I've seen that happen because one of my brothers is a chef, and seeing how he actually do it and transform, and now looking at how they can create more like a mobile application to do things as well. It makes things even more interesting, right? So being adaptable in your work life, being adaptable in even in family, and
Mm.
also in terms of the economy itself, it's very, very important. So I think those are the two key things I would probably advise the students.
That's very
Yeah.
practical advice. I think this is something that resonates often with a lot of movers and shakers in the industry
Hmm.
and across industries.
No
And
worries.
finally, I think what do you do outside of work for entertainment, just to
Hmm.
relax and unwind?
Yep. So for me, in terms of being at home, especially during this period, I think luckily most of my interests were more indoors. So things like for example, building up Lego pieces. I'm someone who likes to break things up. So meaning, for example, I could be looking at a solution and then breaking it up to see how it actually works. Um, it's the same for Lego as well. It's just a reverse methodology whereby it's already broken up. Now you got to fix it up. So that's
Okay.
one. And then doing arts and crafts. So I do a lot of sketchings and drawings as well.
Wow.
So that's one of the things I like to do a lot. In fact, I just bought a sketchbook and I'm gonna restart a lot of different things again. Um, and in terms of outdoor wise, like going out just for walks, looking at people, sceneries as well.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I always enjoy walking along like crowded streets, but now with the current situation, walking
Yeah.
down um, on an empty street, and then now looking at how people behave as well, it's intriguing. And last time you used to be able to see people's facial expressions, but now you can only see the eyes. So that's
Yes.
another challenge to how you can actually read someone from the eyes rather than the expression itself. I think
Hmm.
that's something new that I always like to enjoy doing also. Yeah.
Right. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. Well, I'm surprised to hear of all these arts interests and hobbies, that are coming out for a tech person. But I guess it can't be tech all the way. And
Yeah.
it's nice to have this balance that really kind of it gives you a little bit of that breather from tech,
Yeah.
and it also
Definitely.
keeps you in touch with the arts as well. I think there's a nice balance, I think.
Mhm.
So thanks so
Definitely.
much today
Yeah.
for your time, Felix, and thank you, friends, for watching. If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't subscribed to our channel, hit that notification bell now. And if you're viewing the STEM Together series on Facebook, click follow now. Now remember to like and share this video with your friends. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon. This is Danny and Felix signing out from Science Center Singapore and Amazon Web Services. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye.